I love her.
What are you doing?
Since it's Thanksgiving, an extra helping of this.
Jim Parsons himself agreed the scene was so wrong that it had to be banned from reruns forever. The show's creator cut an entire scene from the pilot after it aired once. What was so controversial about Leonard and Sheldon's trip to a sperm bank that it couldn't be shown again?
Is this the high IQ sperm bank?
A harmless prank between Johnny Galecki and Kaley Cuoco ended so violently that signs were posted on set the next day.
Must have been exhausted. Sheldon liked to sleep while I played the bongo.
What started as innocent pranks escalated into a complete ban on on-set fun after one incident nearly ended a career. From banned episodes to hidden romances, million-dollar salary wars, and backstage betrayals, this is the story of what really happened when the cameras stopped rolling. September 24th, 2007. The Big Bang Theory premiered to 9.52 million viewers who watched Leonard and Sheldon meet their new neighbor Penny. But what they saw wasn't Chuck Lorre's original vision. The pilot had been stripped of a scene so inappropriate that it was later removed from the syndication entirely. The deleted scene opened the episode in a sperm bank with Leonard and Sheldon discussing donating genetic material for money.
No, we are committing genetic fraud. There's no guarantee that our sperm is going to generate high IQ offspring. Think about that.
In the original version, Sheldon mentioned they had tried for money. The scene showed the characters as crude and money-focused rather than the endearing nerds who would capture America's hearts. Test audiences reacted negatively to the scene. Chuck Lorre realized it portrayed the main characters wrong. Leonard appeared desperate rather than romantically hopeful, while Sheldon seemed calculating instead of innocently eccentric. Years later, Jim Parsons admitted that while he didn't object to filming the scene initially, looking back, it was out of place. Nobody knew who Sheldon was yet, so the live audience accepted it for what it was. But in retrospect, it didn't fit the character who would never consume alcohol, rarely engage in physical intimacy, and follow strict behavioral routines. Chuck Lorre eventually decided to cut the scene from reruns completely. He called the scene so wrong and said that in his mind, the show truly began with those awkward hellos between Penny, Sheldon, and Leonard when she's unpacking boxes in her apartment. The original pilot went through major changes beyond just the sperm bank scene. It featured a different female character named Katie, described as a street-hardened, tough-as-nails woman with a vulnerable interior. When test audiences disliked her, the creators developed Penny instead. The original pilot even used Thomas Dolby's "She Blinded Me with Science" as the theme song rather than the Bare Naked Ladies track fans know. By the time the scene was removed from syndication, The Big Bang Theory had become a billion-dollar franchise for Warner Brothers. The sperm bank scene was one of the only moments from the original pilot that remained in the aired version, but it stood out as a jarring reminder of a cruder show that never materialized. Most fans have never seen the deleted scene. Unlike other controversial TV moments that become legendary through bootleg recordings, this scene was effectively erased from Big Bang Theory history. Only collectors who own the original uncut pilot have witnessed Leonard and Sheldon's most embarrassing moment. The removal represented Chuck Lorre's recognition that The Big Bang Theory succeeded because it made audiences care about the characters rather than laugh at them. The show's true beginning wasn't in a clinical setting, but in a hallway where strangers became friends. During season 6, filming in 2013, Johnny Galecki and Kaley Cuoco were known for their elaborate practical jokes that kept the mood light during long filming days. Their pranks had become legendary among cast and crew, but one February afternoon, their fun crossed a line that would permanently change the show's workplace culture. The incident occurred while filming The Tangible Affection Proof, the Valentine's Day episode featuring a heated argument between Penny and Leonard at dinner. Galecki and Cuoco, who had secretly dated for 2 years early in the show's run, decided to surprise everyone with an unplanned prank during their scene. As Cuoco later explained on Jimmy Kimmel Live, they planned for Johnny to fake punch her during the argument, causing her to fall dramatically off her chair for what they thought would be a hilarious blooper reel moment. They had pulled similar stunts before without incident, and the live studio audience always enjoyed when actors broke character. But the prank went horribly wrong. As Cuoco fell backward, the chair came after her and struck her directly in the head. She later described coming up from the table, saying how fun that was, only to realize she had blood coming down her face as if she was in a boxing match. For the first few moments, everyone thought the blood was part of the elaborate prank. Cuoco herself didn't immediately realize the severity of her injury. The cast's reaction was immediate and dramatic. According to Cuoco, Johnny was in tears, Simon was vomiting in the corner, and blood was gushing down her face. Cuoco was rushed to a plastic surgeon at 7 p.m. that same day and required multiple stitches to close the head wound. She had to return to filming the next day with the injury hidden under carefully styled bangs. The directors had to reblock scenes and adjust camera angles to conceal the stitches from viewers. The real consequence wasn't Cuoco's physical injury, but Chuck Lorre's immediate response. When Cuoco returned to set the following day, signs had been posted throughout Stage 25 reading, "No more jokes, no more rough housing." As Cuoco recalled, they thought it was funny, but no one else did. The incident led to a complete ban on practical jokes, rough housing, and any form of unscripted physical comedy on the Big Bang Theory set. The liability concerns were enormous. A serious injury to one of the show's main stars could have jeopardized the entire production. The prank ban extended beyond just physical comedy. Cast members were prohibited from surprising each other during scenes, improvising physical actions, or engaging in any behavior that could potentially lead to injury. The spontaneous, playful atmosphere that had characterized the show's early years was essentially regulated out of existence. Melissa Rauch later described witnessing the aftermath as traumatic for everyone involved. The transformation from laughter to terror happened in seconds, and it was clear that Galecki was devastated about accidentally hurting Cuoco, despite the incident being completely unintentional. In November 2016, The Big Bang Theory's Season 10, Episode 7, titled The Veracity Elasticity, aired normally across America. But British viewers experienced a significantly different version of the show when a controversial dream sequence was completely removed from UK broadcasts. The episode dealt with Sheldon's anxiety about moving out of his longtime bedroom to live with Amy.
Tell me one reason why this isn't a fantastic idea. See?
His fears were depicted through a dream sequence where he imagined discovering what Leonard and Penny might do in his former sacred space. The dream showed Leonard chained to a St. Andrew's cross, wearing a leather harness and collar, while Penny appeared in a corset with a revealing neckline and a fetish cap. The scene depicted the characters engaged in BDSM activities as part of Sheldon's nightmare about his room being used inappropriately. British advertisers and regulators deemed the scene inappropriate for the show's typical family-friendly time slot. Multiple companies complained that the BDSM imagery was too explicit for pre-watershed television hours. Rather than editing or censoring portions of the scene, broadcasters simply removed the entire sequence. This created a jarring viewing experience for UK audiences. The episode jumped abruptly from the beginning of Sheldon's dream to its conclusion, leaving viewers confused about the missing content that explains Sheldon's distress about his former bedroom. The removal sparked widespread discussion on British social media and online forums. Fans who were familiar with the show's typical structure immediately noticed something was wrong. Detailed descriptions of the missing scene and bootleg clips began circulating as viewers sought to understand what had been censored. The controversy was amplified by the fact that Kaley Cuoco and Johnny Galecki were former real-life romantic partners. Some media outlets speculated about whether filming the BDSM scene might have been uncomfortable for the ex-couple, though both actors continued their professional relationship without any reported issues. Industry sources suggested that family-friendly brands sponsoring the Big Bang Theory's UK broadcasts were uncomfortable being associated with BDSM imagery, even in a comedic context. The decision to remove the scene appeared to be driven more by advertising concerns and content standards. The censorship extended beyond the episode itself. UK promotional materials were edited to remove any reference to the controversial dream sequence, and international streaming services carrying the show were provided with family-friendly versions that excluded the BDSM content. Chuck Lorre and the show's writing staff were reportedly surprised by the international reaction. The scene had been conceived and filmed as a brief comic moment, playing on Sheldon's characteristic discomfort with rather than as deliberately provocative content. The scene remains available in its complete form on American streaming platforms and DVD releases, but British fans seeking the uncensored version must turn to American sources. The controversy became a minor footnote in the Big Bang Theory's broadcasting history, but demonstrated how cultural differences can create unexpected censorship issues for global television distribution. By 2017, The Big Bang Theory had become the most financially successful sitcom on television, generating over $1 billion in syndication revenue for Warner Brothers, while averaging 20 million viewers per episode. But behind the scenes, a bitter compensation dispute was threatening to end the show prematurely. The conflict centered on Mayim Bialik and Melissa Rauch, who played Amy and Bernadette respectively. Despite being integral cast members for nearly a decade, they were earning approximately $200,000 per episode, while the 5 original stars commanded $1 million each. The pay disparity was stark and undeniable. Jim Parsons, Johnny Galecki, Kaley Cuoco, Simon Helberg, and Kunal Nair collectively earned $5 million per episode, while Bialik and Rauch together made less than half of what any individual original cast member received. This inequality was particularly notable given Bialik's contributions to the show. She had received 4 consecutive Emmy nominations between 2012 and 2015 for her portrayal of Amy, whose relationship with Sheldon had become central to the series' emotional development. In an unprecedented move in television history, the 5 original cast members voluntarily agreed to take $100,000 pay cuts each to create a pool of $500,000 that could fund raises for Bialik and Rauch. This gesture was remarkable because television casts rarely sacrifice their own compensation to help co-stars, and actors at the peak of their earning power almost never voluntarily reduce their salaries. The pay cuts revealed the complex economics of television production. CBS's license fee for the show was approximately $6 to $7 million per episode, meaning the original cast salaries alone consumed nearly the entire production budget before accounting for other costs, including crew, sets, and post-production. Warner Brothers found itself in a difficult financial position. While The Big Bang Theory generated enormous profits through syndication and international sales, the current episodes were operating on thin margins due to the cast's massive salary obligations. Contract negotiations dragged on for months during late 2016 and early 2017. Industry observers speculated that the show might end after season 10 if salary agreements couldn't be reached. Bialik and Rauch's representatives reportedly pushed for compensation closer to parity with the original cast members. The situation was further complicated by Warner Brothers' pending merger with AT&T, which created additional corporate pressure to control spending. Every financial decision was being scrutinized by executives who viewed The Big Bang Theory as both a valuable asset and a significant cost center. The final resolution saw Bialik and Rauch receive raises to approximately $500,000 per episode for the show's final 2 seasons. This was funded partly through their co-stars' voluntary sacrifice and partly through studio concessions. While still significantly less than the original cast's reduced rate of $900,000 per episode, it represented a substantial victory for pay equity. Earlier salary disputes had created similar tensions within the cast. In 2014, Parsons, Galecki, and Cuoco had united to demand raises from $350,000 to $500,000 per episode. Later, Helberg and Nair had fought to match their 3 co-stars' eventual $1 million per episode salaries. The salary negotiations allowed The Big Bang Theory to complete its planned 12-season run, but the behind-the-scenes financial drama demonstrated the enormous economic pressures facing even the most successful television productions. While millions of viewers followed Leonard and Penny's on-screen romance, Johnny Galecki and Kaley Cuoco were conducting their own secret relationship behind the cameras that they successfully hid from cast, crew, and the public for nearly 2 years. According to Jessica Radloff's 2022 oral history of the show, Cuoco had developed what she described as a very big crush on Galecki early in the first season. She later admitted she wasn't hiding her attraction, describing Galecki as having such swagger. Both actors were dating other people when the show began, but Cuoco said she only had eyes for Johnny. Galecki later confessed he had been completely oblivious to Cuoco's interest, saying he had zero idea of any sort of crush before they began dating. The turning point came during filming of the Nerdvana Annihilation episode, when Leonard saves Penny in an elevator shaft during a dream sequence. The scene required Galecki and Cuoco to be in each other's arms for an extended period while the stunt was filmed. Galecki recalled that Cuoco didn't look freaked out at all, and in fact looked extremely happy in those arms. Both actors later agreed that they fell a little in love in that elevator shaft. Galecki described the moment as a massive turning point in their relationship. He realized that continuing to ignore their mutual attraction would be more of a distraction from their work than acknowledging it and surrendering to it. The decision to keep their relationship secret was driven partly by Galecki's intensely private nature and partly by professional concerns. Galecki wanted to be protective of the audience's acceptance of Penny and Leonard without distraction from tabloid coverage of their real-life relationship. Their covert operations reached elaborate extremes during the cast's trip to Comic-Con in 2008. The hotel complex had two separate buildings, and Galecki and Cuoco were housed in different structures to maintain professional appearances. Cuoco later described how they were like little mice in the night, running back and forth to each other's rooms, trying not to be noticed. Their deception was so successful that even Chuck Lorre remained unaware of the relationship for months. The secret was finally revealed when Lorre casually asked Cuoco about her dating life during a shuttle bus conversation. When she told him she was seeing Johnny, Lorre was completely surprised. The relationship was serious enough that both actors considered marriage. Galecki later described them as a very loving couple and confirmed there was a point where they did consider marrying each other. However, their fundamental differences ultimately proved insurmountable. Galecki was very uncomfortable with being public about their relationship, which hurt Cuoco's feelings. He insisted this wasn't because he was embarrassed, but because he wanted to protect the show and their characters from media scrutiny. The couple also discovered that working together all day and then spending personal time together left them with little to discuss beyond their shared professional experiences. As Cuoco put it, they would go home together and ask about each other's day, then laugh because they had no mystery left. The breakup occurred in late 2009 during the show's third season. Both actors handled the transition with remarkable professionalism, continuing to work together for 9 more years while maintaining a close friendship. Cuoco later described it as a mutual breakup, noting that you can rarely say that about a relationship ending. Summer 2018. Jim Parsons had privately decided he was ready to leave The Big Bang Theory after season 12. According to Jessica Radloff's 2022 oral history, Parsons felt he couldn't continue beyond the 12th season and was ready to get out of the security of the show to find out what was next for him. Parsons had confided his decision only to close friend and co-star Simon Helberg. Neither expected the show would certainly end, nor did they rule out attempts from producers to continue The Big Bang Theory without Sheldon Cooper. Chuck Lorre called a meeting for Wednesday, assembling the entire cast along with showrunners Steve Malaro and Steve Holland in his office. The cast members arrived expecting to discuss contract negotiations for potential future seasons beyond their current deals. Instead, Lorre welcomed everyone and then, unexpectedly, passed the responsibility to Parsons to explain his decision. Parsons had not anticipated leading this meeting and felt caught off guard. He told his castmates that he was ready to say goodbye at the end of season 12. Lorre then announced that he didn't see a path forward without Sheldon Cooper and didn't want to pursue continuing the show with anyone leaving the ensemble. According to multiple sources cited in the oral history, there was a lot of crying in Lorre's office that day, particularly from Kaley Cuoco. The cast felt blindsided by Parsons' announcement, not because of his decision to leave, but because he hadn't prepared them for this possibility. Johnny Galecki later said he disagreed with how the situation was handled. The cast thought they were going into Chuck's office to talk about renegotiating contracts, but then Chuck passed the responsibility to Jim, who was obviously caught off guard himself. The morning after the meeting, producer Steve Malaro received a text from Cuoco saying she was upset with Parsons and didn't feel like working that day. Galecki had similarly reached out to Lorre to voice his frustrations about being blindsided by the announcement. According to Malaro and Holland, when the cast did show up for the next run-through, it was kind of icy, and none of them were talking between scenes. Holland noted that Kaley could barely make eye contact with Jim during the run-through, but they got through it. The tensions had cooled by the following run-through. but the damage to relationships had been done. The cast had expected to discuss their future together, only to learn that one member had unilaterally decided to end their collective journey. Warner Brothers had reportedly offered Parsons approximately $50 million to continue for 2 additional seasons. His decision to decline potentially cost not only himself tens of millions of dollars, but also denied his co-stars similar earning opportunities. The show's final season was completed despite the initial tensions, with The Big Bang Theory ending its 12-year run in May 2019. The series finale drew over 18 million viewers, but the behind-the-scenes story of how the decision was made remained largely unknown until the publication of the oral history 3 years later. Throughout its 12-season run, some of The Big Bang Theory's most memorable elements actually originated from unscripted moments and actor improvisations that were incorporated into the show. The most famous example was Sheldon's distinctive 3-knock pattern, followed by saying someone's name. According to producer Lee Aronson, the original script simply called for Sheldon to knock on Penny's door once. During filming, Aronson suggested changing it to 3 knocks, demonstrating the pattern himself. He explained that it showed Sheldon's obsessive compulsiveness, since people like that enjoy patterns and structure. The suggestion became one of Sheldon's most recognizable character traits, with Jim Parsons performing the knock, 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 followed by the person's name throughout the series. Aronson recalled how they had fun with the established pattern, including scenes where Penny would answer after 2 knocks, leaving Sheldon frozen and unable to speak. Melissa Rauch's distinctive high-pitched voice for Bernadette was another unscripted choice that defined the character. Chuck Lorre described Bernadette's voice as like a piccolo on acid in the show's oral history. The contrast between Rauch's tiny stature, squeaky voice, and her character's ruthless personality became central to Bernadette's comedic appeal. Kaley Cuoco's tendency to cry during emotional scenes often wasn't scripted. Executive producer Stephen Malaro recalled that Cuoco's unintentional crying added poignancy to scenes throughout the series. She would tear up not just during her own emotional moments, but even while watching other actors perform touching scenes, like when Sheldon proposed to Amy. Kevin Sussman's portrayal of Stewart underwent a significant transformation due to an improvised line. During a season 3 scene where Leonard and Penny visit the comic book store, Sussman quietly mumbled, "I love you" to Penny as the couple was leaving. The writers liked the moment so much that they began writing Stewart as a more desperate and pathetic character. Sussman later noted that after that unscripted moment, they started having him back more frequently and began having Stewart regress as a character. Guest star Will Wheaton created one of the show's most memorable cameo moments through an unscripted costume choice. When appearing at a Star Wars movie premiere, Wheaton decided at the last minute to wear Star Trek Spock ears and uniform shirt to create conflict with the Star Wars fans. According to Wheaton, only a handful of writers knew about his plan, but no one from the studio or crew was aware. The genuine laughter from the cast and crew when he appeared was completely spontaneous. Mayim Bialik made a personal choice that affected her character's dialogue throughout the series. She preferred not to say God's name in vain during performances, so she would modify lines like, "Oh my God, it's a tiara," to "Oh my gosh, it's a tiara." She explained that she would vocalize her way out of the "my God" part, and when no one corrected her, she continued doing it that way. The famous Soft Kitty song also evolved through various unscripted performances by different cast members throughout the series, with each actor bringing their own interpretation to Sheldon's childhood lullaby. These improvised moments often became more beloved by fans than scripted content, demonstrating the creative chemistry and collaborative spirit that made The Big Bang Theory successful both on and off camera. Anyway, that's it for this video, folks. Bye.